Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So we're ending Animal Week, and I've got an assortment of animals to talk about. So maybe we'll come back one day. But today, I want to talk about a donkey. Now, a donkey was a very important animal to the agrarian lifestyle of early Israel. A donkey didn't demand as much food as a horse. They were cheaper than horses. They weren't as smart as horses. They weren't as strong as horses, but they were still really good. They could pull a plow. They could carry a load. They could carry a person. Some of the drawbacks of donkeys. Donkeys were quite stubborn. We have the expression stubborn as a mule. A mule is a cross between a donkey and a horse. Usually it's a donkey stallion with a horse mare, but that's our expression today. Back then, they were extremely stubborn animals and could be rather belligerent. You may remember the story of Balaam and his donkey back in the Old Testament. But donkeys, with that kind of background, it fit into one of the sadder verses of Scripture for me. The verse is Isaiah 1, verse 3. Isaiah was an Old Testament prophet speaking to Israel at a time and Judah at a time where they were just not following God. They'd gotten distracted. They'd gotten the new religion. They didn't need those old ways. And they rebelled against God, and so Isaiah comes with the mouth of the Lord, a phrase in Isaiah you hear over and over in Hebrew is Kipi Adonai Diber, because the mouth of the Lord has spoken it, and he comes and he speaks on behalf of God. And so at the very beginning of the prophet Isaiah's book, we read in Isaiah 1:3 that the ox knows its owner. The donkey, as dumb as they may be and as stubborn as they may be, the donkey knows its master's crib. In other words, the manger. It knows where to go at night. It knows where to be fed. It knows where its master takes care of it. And then the prophet says, but Israel does not know God. Israel, God says, does not understand. Blows me away. I mean, they're worse than a donkey. The stubborn, dumb donkey at least knows where to go home. Israel didn't understand their home. They didn't understand their master. They didn't know God. I take that to my heart today. I don't know why particularly today it touches me, but it really does. I want to commit today. I want to commit today to better knowing God. I want to commit today to better understanding Him. I've walked with the Lord for well over 5 decades. I'm 61. But I really want today to be a day where I rely on Him more, where I give Him more credit, where in humility I seek His greatness, I seek His will. I don't want to put me first. I want to put Him first. I want to put others first. I want to know God better than I ever had. Paul says, I want to know God in the power of His rising, share in His sufferings, conformed to His death. When I pour out my life like this, God will transform me and what He does in me, but it'll all be to His glory. Don't be the donkey. Don't even be worse than the donkey. Get to know God. Get to understand Him better. That's your video thought for the day to take you into the weekend. I hope to see you again Monday.